There was once a young baker named Rohit who dreamed of owning a successful bakery in his town. Rohit loved baking, the smell of fresh bread, the sweetness of pastries, and the joy of seeing people smile as they tasted his creations. Yet despite his talent, his bakery struggled. He would start baking late in the morning, rush through orders, and often fall behind on deliveries. Customers sometimes complained, profits were low, and Rohit began to feel frustrated. He knew he had potential, but he needed a way to transform his routine and maximize his productivity. One day, Rohit met an experienced baker who had built a thriving bakery in the same town. Curious about his success, Rohit asked, "What's your secret? How do you manage so many orders and still maintain quality?" The seasoned baker smiled and said, "I wake up at 5 a.m. every day. That's when the world is quiet, and I can focus on perfecting my craft before anyone else starts their day." Rohit was intrigued. Waking up at 5 a.m. seemed almost impossible to him, but he decided to try. He thought, if one simple habit could change everything for someone else, maybe it could change everything for me too. The first few days were challenging. Rohit's body resisted, and his mind craved the comfort of sleeping longer. Getting out of bed at 5 a.m. felt unnatural, and he often wanted to give up, but he reminded himself that success requires discipline. Slowly, he adjusted his schedule, going to bed earlier and creating a bedtime routine that allowed him to wake up refreshed. Within a week, Rohit noticed a small but significant difference. The mornings felt peaceful. He had quiet hours to prepare dough, and he could focus on baking without the usual distractions of the busy day. By waking early, Rohit gained what he called golden hours, time when he could work uninterrupted, experiment with new recipes, and perfect every pastry, bread, and cake. Customers began to notice the difference. The bakery's products were fresher, more consistent, and of higher quality than ever before. Rohit's attention to detail and the care he put into each item made people come back, often praising the taste and aroma. What had seemed like a simple habit, waking early, had begun to transform his business and reputation. Over the next few months, Rohit made waking at 5 a.m. a non-negotiable part of his life. He organized his bakery workflow, planning production, baking, and deliveries in a structured way that allowed him to maximize efficiency. He found that early mornings were not just about work. They were about discipline, focus, and preparation. The quiet hours gave him clarity, allowing him to plan his day and anticipate challenges. While others rushed and stressed, Rohit was calm, organized, and productive. The transformation extended beyond the bakery. Rohit's energy levels increased, his mood improved, and he had more time to spend with his family. Waking early became a lifestyle, not a chore. He learned the power of routine, understanding that success is often the result of small, consistent habits rather than sudden bursts of effort. By controlling his schedule and claiming the early hours for himself, Rohit had unlocked a source of productivity and creativity that had previously been hidden. Rohit's story began to inspire others. Friends and neighbors asked him how he managed to produce so much while maintaining quality. He would smile and say, "It's simple. Wake up before the world does. Use those quiet hours to work on what matters most." Consistency beats speed, and discipline beats talent when talent doesn't practice. People were amazed at how one habit, waking early, could lead to such dramatic results. A year later, Rohit's bakery had become one of the most popular in the town. Orders poured in from nearby villages, and people appreciated not just the taste, but the effort and dedication visible in every item. Rohit reflected on his journey and realized that success is rarely about shortcuts or luck. It's about the small, consistent actions that compound over time. Waking at 5 a.m. was not just a habit, it was a mindset that shaped every decision he made, every product he created, and every interaction he had. The true lesson of Rohit's story is that discipline and consistency matter more than raw talent or fleeting motivation. Many talented bakers in the town struggled because they lacked a structured routine, often starting late and working chaotically. Rohit's early mornings gave him an edge, not because he was faster, but because he respected time, focused deeply, and prioritized his craft. The habit of waking early became a metaphor for taking control of one's life-claiming time for self-improvement, planning, and purposeful action. Rohit's journey also highlights the ripple effect of small habits. By waking early, he improved his business, his skills, his energy, and his mindset. His discipline inspired employees, friends, and family. Small, consistent actions repeated over time had transformed his life. The baker who once struggled to keep up had now built a thriving business, a respected reputation, and a life full of purpose, all by embracing the power of waking early and taking control of his day. By the end of his story, Rohit understood that success is not a sudden event. It is the result of tiny, consistent habits that compound over time. Waking at 5 a.m. was not just about gaining extra hours. It was about cultivating focus, discipline, and resilience. His journey teaches us that we do not need extraordinary talent or circumstances to succeed. We need consistent effort, a willingness to start small, and the courage to take control of our time. So remember, Rohit, whenever you feel stuck or overwhelmed, begin by taking control of your mornings. Wake up early, dedicate time to your craft, and focus on meaningful work before distractions arrive. Over time, the habit will transform not just your productivity, but your mindset, discipline, and life. The baker who found success by waking at 5 a.m. shows us that success is built one habit, 1 hour, and one morning at a time.